It started very small in the US, but because of the work they'd done, which culminated really in the Golden Globes and things, it means that any subsequent release, like the UK release and the release here, can be much bigger because you have an amount of built-in media attention that you're guaranteed. So that helps it. I'm absolutely delighted it's being released quite wide here because I'd love as many people as possible to see it. Because although I think people might find the beginning of the film very tough, and it's a film with the heart of the film has enormous affection for this city that we worked in and kind of sponsored us or kind of just hosted us. We were the guests, really.
It's important for you to make this point, isn't it? Because
Very
I think
much
you're
so.
reacting to the fact that there were some people, you know, and there will be some people who, when they see your film, who will be touchy about the picture of India you're portraying.
I had the privilege of making the film here, and we made it as best we could, and I tried to include as much of the city as I found with, and you also have the privilege, and it is a privilege, to just accept what people say in the end. You mustn't fight it, because actually you've had the privilege of making the film, and it is a hugely privileged position being a filmmaker. Then it's a chance for people to say what they like about it, and so they should. And I think when people see the film, hopefully the spirit they get from the end of the film will transcend any difficulties they might have had with parts of it. When you work in somewhere like the slums, and what you learn from it is I wanted that to come across in the film, that they're not places of abject suffering, that they may look poor, especially to a Western audience, but actually they're breathtakingly resilient places, and that if we all lived as resourcefully as they live, given how little they've got, the world would actually be a better place. The sense of community, the sense of self-support that they give. So that was one of the big surprises for me. And you still find people in the West saying, oh, the poverty. And you think, yes, of course there isn't enough infrastructure. But I found it as a filmmaker, I found the experience exhilarating, the energy of the places and the sense of pride and optimism in limited circumstances to be really inspiring, really.
I've lived in Mumbai all my life, and I saw Slumdog Millionaire, and I said, hey, this doesn't look like it's been made from somebody with an external gaze, and I mean that as a compliment. It captured both the beautiful and the ugliness of the city, which all of us are familiar with and love and live with. How come you got that point of view?
Well, because the people I work with, of course. I hired a lot of very, very good people in the city who helped me make the film. Like, there's three people in particular, Loveleen Tandon, who was originally the casting director. We effectively made her the co-director of the film.
I know, and that's very generous, isn't it? Quite unusual.
Rasool Pukati, the sound guy who got a nomination yesterday, which I was so pleased about, because the help he gave me was extraordinary. And the third person is my first assistant director, Raj Achari, who works his whole life in Mumbai, knew how to film here, how I wanted to film here, and he made it possible for me. So you have all that, and the rest of the crew helping. They helped us beyond the call of duty. There is some advantage to being an outsider sometimes, because you probably take the city a bit for granted. And I know I do. I live in London and I avoid the city as much as I can to try and get to work and all those things. And an outsider sometimes says, listen, do you realise you're in one of the most amazing cities on earth? I love cities. And this is the maximum city, as they say. You know, there's very rare that you visit a city which has so much life in it, just vibrating in front of you. For a director, it's like heaven, you know, and you probably don't think of your city as heaven, but for a filmmaker it is, because you've got such drama everywhere, so many stories, so much life. We worked at VT Station. There's 2 million people use that station every day, so you have the benefit. Whereas in your normal life, you're avoiding people. You get in your car, you stay in your
Whereas
flat.
you're lingering. There have been Hindi filmmakers like Ram Gopal Varma, to name just one, who have showcased the city exactly the way it's meant to be. It's just that their movies haven't been seen by a worldwide audience. But you've managed to bridge that gap for us, so thank you for that.
I've been trying to promote, like, Satya. I've been trying to get people in America to watch Satya and Company and Anurag Kashyap's film Black Friday, because these are wonderful films that I think would appeal directly to Westerners, absolutely directly, and they're as good a films as you see made anywhere in the world, you know.